Good morning, artists. This is the Crazy Art Lady. Hey, it's great to have you back. Today, we are going to be working with the cone. Now, I really believe everybody can learn to draw. So keep that in mind as we do this, because according to Paul Cezanne, if we treat everything as a sphere, a cone, or a cylinder, we're going to be able to draw everything. So we already explored the sphere, and we did the apple with that. And I hope you're out there looking for the different kinds of things that would fall within a sphere. Today we're going to be looking at the cone. And the cone, if you look at this carefully, we're going to be looking at a couple of things. So first thing I want you to do is you're going to be putting your first and last name on it. But let's take a look at the tonals, the different things that make up this cone. I want to make a three-dimensional object. Looks kind of like a triangle, not. Okay, starts with a triangle. Okay, but now what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at using contour shading to bring that out from the picture plane, make it look three-dimensional. Now, a couple things you want to notice is that here on this, you've got an area of reflected light, and then it gets darker, and then it starts getting lighter here. Same thing over here. We'll be pulling out this light here and go darker, and then getting a little bit lighter. And then we've got this area of highlight here. Because remember, light always reflects off the object in the shape of the object. So let's go ahead and get started. Okay, first thing I want you to do is go ahead and get a clean sheet of paper. And you're going to be needing a straight edge ruler. You're going to be needing a number 2 and or a 4B pencil. Okay, you want to have a pencil sharpener. Keep your pencils nice and sharp. And you also want to have an eraser. Now I've still got that kind of crummy eraser. I have a tendency to put things down just wherever, and so then I'm like scrounging around looking for an eraser. But just make sure you have a good eraser on hand, okay? Now, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working with this, and we're going to create a line straight across on our paper. It's about an inch down on our paper. So here we go, like this, okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create this flush with the side of my paper so I don't have to measure and remeasure. I want to get a nice straight line. And so what I'm going to do is go flush with the side of the paper, and then I will take my pencil and I'm going to create a line straight across. Now this is the horizon line. Now the horizon line, let me go ahead and put this over here. Sometimes you'll see in art books it'll just be abbreviated HL. Makes sense, right? Okay, so the HL, the horizon line. The horizon line is when you look out at something and you can see where the sky meets the earth, okay? And on that horizon line, the thing you need to remember about the horizon line is eye level. So if I'm looking at something and my eyes are level, I'm looking straight out, the horizon line is going to be level with my eyes, okay? So here we have a vanishing point. Now the vanishing point is where all the orthogonal lines end up, okay? Now I want to show you, hold on a second. I want to show you a cone, okay? Now the bottom of the cone is a circle. We can all kind of agree on that. If you look at this upside down and you go, oh, that's a circle. Yeah, that makes sense. But if I look at it above the horizon line or below the horizon line, I'll go ahead and show you some of these when I do that. And then you look at it above, and what you see, it looks more like an oval. We call that an ellipse. There's that math in there again. Oh my gosh. So what we're going to do is we're going to try to create that. Now this is one of those technical drawings. The next one that we do with the cone is going to be a little bit more loose and organic, but this is called a geometric figure, okay? So what I want to do is I want to create down here, about halfway, a little bit below halfway on my paper, I'm going to go ahead and do another line that is parallel to my horizon line, but it's only going to be about, that was my English talking, okay? It's only going to be about 2 inches across, okay? Don't worry about it being perfect because I don't. So what we're going to do is we're going to make a triangle. And the cone, you're going to see, is going to look a heck of a lot like a triangle, okay? But the triangle is flat, and it's like one-dimensional, and it doesn't look three-dimensional at all. You can see these are one of those basic shapes that you learned in kindergarten, okay? Teacher would go, okay, what's this shape? Oh, it's a triangle. What's this shape? It's a circle. There's nothing terribly interesting about them except for the fact that as an artist, you're going to be learning how to see these shapes in everything, okay? So next step is about maybe 1/2 inch up, I want to go ahead and create a parallel line to this here. And so what I'm going to do is go straight across. And now I'm going to get the diagonal. Now remember when we did the circle and the sphere? What we tried to do is for the sphere to get it, you know, exact, as we wanted to figure out how to draw that sphere. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to go corner to corner here to get our center point. So I'm going to go across like that. And then I'm going to go corner to corner here. And this, you really want to get it at the center, okay? Corner to corner here, okay? And if you didn't, go ahead and erase and change your lines a little bit, okay? Then I'm going to go straight up. I'm going to go with the horizon line. I'm going to go straight up through this. And this is a vertical line. And then I want to go straight through it horizontally, okay? This way, when I'm drawing that ellipse, what's going to happen? Here you go. You can see that I know exactly where the center of this ellipse is, and then I can draw my quarter arcs, I guess you would call them, okay? So I want to create my center point and then my touch points. This is the place where the ellipse is going to touch. This is the place the ellipse is going to touch. This is the place the ellipse is going to touch. And again, this is the place the ellipse is going to touch. Now, it's not going to touch any other place. Otherwise, you're going to end up with something like a bottom that looks like a squared off lemon. You don't want that. Okay, so here, now what we're going to do is I'm going to figure out my drawing angle, and I'm going to lightly sketch this in like a so. Okay, and if you need to change your lines as you go, go ahead. And I'm going to move this around, and I'm going to do the same thing here. Okay. Like that. I'm going to be changing some of these lines, I tell you. Okay, and then I'm going to come around here. Okay, and then I'm going to come around here. Now you're going to notice on mine, you're going to go, dude, you're the teacher. Why you got this looking like this? So I'm going to go ahead and change. It's not going to make that much of a difference because I'm going to erase a lot of these lines. So I'm going to come down here, okay? And then what I want to do is I'm going to do a little bit of erasing. So I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to just go in the middle and I'm going to erase all this stuff here. See what I mean? You're going, wait a minute, I just drew all those lines. That's awful. I don't want to draw. I don't want to get rid of those beautiful lines. Whoops. Okay, so I'm going to go like this. Redraw some of these lines. Remember, it's only going to touch there. Okay, and I want to erase this part. Okay, now that's the cone. Like this. You go straighten out your lines, okay? So now what you have is the bottom of the cone. The bottom of the cone is going to be an ellipse. So now what we want to do is just like we did with the spheres, we want to figure out our area of highlight. Area of highlight, if I'm imagining my highlights coming in this way, I'm going to go ahead and stipple in. And stipple in here, okay? Because my highlight, if my light is coming in this way, then back here is where my shadow is going to fall, okay? Now, the first thing I want to do is I want to identify, I keep saying the first thing I want to do. Well, it's like the next thing I want to do. The next thing I want to do is identify my contour line, and this is where I'm going to follow this line down here and this line down here for my shading. So here I go, and I'm going to create some contour hatching lines all the way up. Now I'm using a 4B on this shading just because I like the way that the graphite releases and blends really well, but you can use a 2B, you can use a 6B, whatever you like. Just be aware that the 6B starts to look a little bit messy, and when you're working with a 4B and a 6B, sometimes the best thing to do is to place a blank sheet of paper underneath your fist, because it'll start to, you know, get all over the place. Okay, I'm not going to do that for right now. I don't know why, but I'm just not going to. Maybe because I don't have paper all the time, you know, sometimes I mean I do, but I don't want to waste it. So, okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to do the same thing on the other side. So let's go ahead and go here, and I'm going to go all the way up Here we go. Shade, shade, shade. I love to shade. Here we go. We're going all the way up. We want to keep that nice line up here on that highlight. Okay, we're going to go here. Now, I call these tonals coming out because what I want to do is, as I'm adding these contour hatching lines, I'm going all the way up, but I want to make sure that I'm blending kind of as I go, but I'm also, sometimes I can't talk and draw at the same time, but what I want to do is I want to blend over. So I don't want to do a line and a line. I want to go ahead and kind of cross over on my contour hatching. Now what I'm going to do is, starting up here, I want to leave this area here a little bit lighter, this area here a little bit lighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add some more shading here. Okay, you can see that. It looks like it's getting darker here, okay? So what I'm going to do is go like this, okay? And on the same side, on the other side, I'm going to do the same thing. So go all the way down. Crazy, have I told you lately that I love you? So here we go, all the way down, okay, like that. And then what I'm going to do is figure out where my shadows and shading are going to go. And so back here, I'm going to just kind of flatten these out like this, and you're going to see that the shadows are coming back here, like that, okay? And if I really want to, what I can do is take kind of the edge of my eraser, and I can pull up some light here, because this would be reflected light here. Light bounces off an object and sends it back onto this object, and so we want to do that here and here. So you can see that you're going to have quite a few different values here. So that's pretty much it. And then, like I said, if if you're really doing something for professional use, you want to use something called a blending stump. But I'm just going to go ahead and blend it out a little bit with this. And there are a lot of professional artists that just say, I can't believe you're teaching them to just blend with their fingers. I don't normally, I didn't in the classroom, I usually tried to order some blending stumps for everybody so they could say to people who don't know, what is it, they'd go, what's that? I go, oh, it's a blending stump. Oh, what is that for? Oh, it's for art. So here we go. And then that's pretty much it. So actually, I'm looking at this going, maybe I should have used the blending stump. So, and let's go all the way up like this. Go ahead and do a little bit of blending. Put your first and your last name on your paper. Put the date. And if you're in a class, put your period number. So here's what we're going to do today. So we looked at this. We talked about contour lines again. Contour lines are the outside lines. Okay, so we got contour line. We talked about tonals. Okay, and that had to do with shading and shadow shading. Actually, it had to do with shading. It didn't have to do with shadows. We did talk about shadow, where the shadow is going to fall behind this. Okay, you want to talk about blending and drawing an ellipse. Okay, so there's kind of a lot of stuff in this. You guys are doing great. I'm so proud of you. I can't believe that at this point, according to Paul Cezanne, at this point, you've drawn the sphere, you've drawn an apple, you've drawn this. You're about 2/3 around the natural world with what you're going to be able to draw. So we're going to start looking at things in nature. We're going to start looking at those things that that fall within this. Okay, obviously there's other shapes out there, but if we treat most of the natural world this way, you're going to be able to draw everything. Real proud of you guys, and we'll see you next time. Don't forget to subscribe.